basketball. He's showing that kind of determination through his pro career and his coaching career.
I was a senior when he was a freshman, highly sought after and, a great, great young player. And I just remember the freshman team, kicking our butt all the time. Adolph didn't like that, but he was a great, great player, a great competitor, and I think it's showing right now that he's going to become one of the great coaches in this league, too.
Pat Riley in New York, Dan Issel in Denver. They can both trace their roots to a man named Rupp and a place called Lexington. Okay, here's the deal. Patrick Ewing has 14,579 career points. That's 38 less than the man who holds the all-time club scoring record, Walt Frazier. The topic is simple. Which of these two players is the better scorer? Wearing the color of royalty tonight, the man who holds the record himself, Walt Clyde Frazier. Curtis Bunn of the New York Daily News, and Michael Kay. Gentlemen, you know the rules. At the sound of the bell, let her go. Bing!
Well, I'll tell you what, this isn't going to be much of an argument because I think we all agree I would take Walt Frazier any day of the year over Patrick Ewing. If I had to score a point in a big game with about a minute left, if I had the ball in somebody's hand, I'd want it in Walt Frazier's hand for the simple reason Walt Frazier's going to be able to create his shot. Patrick Ewing, you have to get it to him in the right place at the right time for him to do it. Not taking anything away from Patrick Ewing, but I guess I'm going to give Walt the big head today.
Yeah, well, as much as I hate to agree with you and love to disagree with you, I have to in this case. There are a couple of things about Walt Frazier that stands out to me. Number one, he played against great guards, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, Norm Van Leer. There were a lot of great guard duels there, so you had to perform on both ends of the floor. The other thing is that he already has more free throw shots than Patrick Ewing has taken. It probably will end up that way. So that says to me Patrick is a less aggressive center than Walt was a guard. The other thing is that your game was so smooth, it reminds me of me.
How about you? What do you feel, Walt?
Well, I feel some melancholy that he's going to break my record. I'm sort of ambivalent, but I think I could compare Ewing to Willis Reed as far as a big guy that can really shoot the ball, a good perimeter shooter, like a Bob Lanier in that mode. So I think right now he's the best perimeter shooter on the Knicks team. And I'd just like to say kudos to Patrick. It's a record that I held in high esteem, but all records are meant to be broken.
One thing I did want to point out, though, Walt Frazier had big games when he had to have big games. Patrick Ewing hasn't proven that to me yet, because when Willis Reed limped out that day and got all the publicity, Walt Frazier's the guy who had 30-plus points and really won that Game 7.
Yeah, I don't want to turn this into a Ewing bashing because Patrick really did fail a lot early in his career in the clutch situations, but in recent years he's really stepped it up. I think he wanted it more and had more confidence.
Also, Walt's a better dresser.
Well, this wasn't exactly crossfire tonight, was it? The thing about, Clyde, you scored your points on a team that had a lot more offensive facets than this team did. They shared the ball a little bit more. All right, when we come back, it'll be time to hear from Bob Page at the sports desk. Our game is just minutes ahead.
Of all the credit cards, didn't need a guard. With Chris there, they would have won the NBA title in 2 years, end quote. The elder Weber is absolutely right, but then most of us said this at the time. What were the Magic thinking of taking Anthony Hardaway when they already had Scott Skiles at that position and desperately needed a power forward like Weber to go with Shaquille O'Neal? Terrific game at the Meadowlands Arena last night. The Nets extended to double overtime, but finally prevailed over the Miami Heat 110 to 105. We'll pick it up with 17 seconds left in regulation. Rego Park native Kenny Anderson drills a jumper en route to a career-high 32 points. Nets up 85-83, but Chuck frustrated when Glenn Rice nailed a shot with 4 seconds left, so they went to overtime number 1. Now here we are in overtime number 2. Rice a three-pointer. Miami goes up by 1. He finished with 39. Next possession, New Jersey's Kevin Edwards sinks a triple. Nets up 2. He had 28 in the game, frustrating Kevin Lockery, who many think will be the first NBA coach fired this year. And how about Chris Morris? His only basket of the night. This three-pointer with 6 seconds left off a nice feed from Kenny, who had a triple-double. Mojo's a three-pointer, put the Nets up by 5. They won it by 5. Derek Coleman had 21 points, but fouled out in the first overtime. What a triumphant return to Cleveland is on tap tonight for Brooklyn native Lenny Wilkens. After leaving the Cavs in the offseason, Wilkens, as you know, quickly landed on his feet as head coach of the Atlanta Hawks. And all the Hawks have done now is win a franchise record 13 straight games coming into tonight's contest with the Cavaliers.
The nucleus is here, and we've added a few players like Craig.
And 4, they are on top in the Atlantic Division by 2.5 games over Orlando. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with John Andres, and for Patrick Ewing and Dikembe Mutombo, this is not just another day at the office as they continue in their friendly but fierce rivalry, certainly one of the better head-to-head matchups in the NBA.
Yes, these guys spend a lot of time off the court together, and perhaps Patrick Ewing better stop doing it. Because based on last year's relationship, Mutombo's come along strong. Speaking of strong, he KO'd Patrick Ewing after a jump ball situation last year. Patrick was down for the count. Then things got going after a while, and Mutombo showed what he can do. If he can get to a little space, Patrick has to be a little careful with his help. But Ewing also had some moves for Mutombo, and he showed him what he can do when given one-on-one matchups. When you look at the relationship, points, field goals, rebounds, blocked shots, it's a virtual standoff last year during their two-game matchup. And I would think Patrick Ewing would like to give Mutombo a little bit heavier numbers in his favor this season.
And this is a up-and-coming Denver Nugget team that is led by Dikembe Mutombo and also sparked by their combination point guard, shooting guard, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, formerly known as Chris Jackson, and he is off to an excellent start.
Yes, one thing he did in the offseason, Marv, is lose a lot of weight. So he's a thin player. He's not that tall at 6'1", but he can shoot the basketball as well as anybody in the league, and he's destined to be an NBA All-Star. Any kind of room on the court, and Abdul-Rauf can hit that jump shot. He does it on the left side. He does it on the right side. He likes the basket wherever it presents itself. Even off a dribble, he can shoot that jump shot. This year, they're trying to make more of a point guard out of him, but these numbers say he's still shooting the ball well. Among the league leaders at over 21 a game, his shooting percentage is better than ever, better than his 3 prior years, and his foul shooting only leads the NBA. Abdul-Rauf will be a package for the Knicks to handle.
Mention that this is an up-and-coming club. The average age of the starters is around 23 years. And when you look at that front line, they have to be considered one of the better young front lines in the league.
Yes, there are no apparent weaknesses. LaFonso Ellis had a groin injury that's limited his effectiveness this year, but overall, it's a very intimidating youthful front line.
LaFonso Ellis along with Rodney Rogers and Dikembe Mutombo. So it's the Nuggets and the Knicks here at Madison Square Garden. Right now, let's join public address announcer Mike Walshewski.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, rookie point guard Bobby Hurley of the Sacramento Kings was seriously injured in an automobile accident 2 days ago. A New Jersey native, Bobby's accident has touched all basketball fans, and especially those here in the metropolitan area, and every member of the Knicks family wishes him a full and speedy recovery. We ask now that you please rise and join in a moment of silent prayer for the recovery of Bobby Hurley. Thank you.
Back at Madison Square Garden, we are set for the introduction of the Hertz starting lineup.
Famous Arena. Tonight's game features the Denver Nuggets and your New York Knicks. Here tonight's starting lineup, first for Denver. At guard at 6'1" from LSU, number 3, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. At guard at 6'5" from Virginia, number 23, Bryant Stitt. At forward at 6'8" from Notre Dame, number 20, LaFonso Ellis. At forward at 6'7" from Wake Forest, number 54, Rodney Rogers. And at center at 7'2" from Georgetown, number 55, Dikembe Mutombo. The head trainer is Jim Gillen. The assistant trainer is Troy Wenzel. Assistant coaches Gene Littles and Mike Evans. And the head coach, Dan Issel. And now, please welcome your New York Knicks. At guard at 6'5" from Oklahoma State, number 3, John Starks. At guard at 6'4" from Marquette, number 25, Doc Rivers. At forward at 6'7" from Ohio State, number 9, Tony Campbell. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, co-captain Charles Oakley. And at center at 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, co-captain Patrick Ewing. The head trainer is Mike Saunders. The assistant trainer, Tim Walsh. Assistant coaches are Dick Carter and Jeff Van Gundy. And the head coach of the Knicks, Pat Riley.
Well, the Knicks come off the win over the Indiana Pacers Saturday night here at the Garden, 98-91, but the Knicks committed 20 turnovers, which upset Pat Riley. Take a look at this stat. Over the first 14, they averaged almost 16 turnovers per game. The last 3, they've been averaging about 20 turnovers per game. We talked about that with Pat.
I think pro players at times, you know, just take for granted the real basic things because the game is so easy for them. And our turnovers have been up over the last 3 games to about 20 a game, and we're just not going to be effective, you know, with that kind of turnover ratio. So, I mean, you got to be basic. You know, you got to handle the ball, you got to pass it, you got to catch it, you got to be strong with it, and you know, most importantly, use the 2 hands that God gave you to make those passes and catches.
As Pat said yesterday, that was the focus of their practice. Talk about getting back to basics. Pass the ball with 2 hands, fellas, and receive it with 2 hands. Also, Marv, the Knicks putting John Starks at the point guard and Greg Anthony's absence has hurt the team a bit as well.
Yes, Pat Riley said there has been a lack of concentration. He used the example of Magic Johnson, who said many of you saw the flashy part of Magic's game, but he was the most basic, fundamental player that he'd ever seen in his life. The officials, Jess Kersey, Bob Delaney, and Jim Kinsey. The Denver Nuggets controlling the opening tip. Abdul Rauf gets it down low. It's knocked away, but recovered by LaFonso Ellis. And here is Dikembe Mutombo with a line drive hook shot, giving Denver a 2-0 lead.
But note the soft touch on that hook shot by Mutombo.
Doc Rivers and John Starks in the backcourt. Greg Anthony not with the club once again because of the flu. That's the case against Indiana on Saturday. Away from the ball, the foul is called. It's on Rodney Rogers. Rodney Rogers, rookie from Wake Forest, first-round draft pick, 9th selection overall. ACC Player of the Year last year as a junior, then left Wake Forest. Campbell rejected. Good recovery by Rogers to help out on Tony Campbell.
Boy, Campbell, it appeared, had everyone beat, but Rogers made a terrific recovery.
Starks guarded by Brian Stiff. And Campbell and Abdul Rauf chase it down, and it is Abdul Rauf firing down. Stiff, he's had the hot hand as of late. Starks puts the move on Rogers. Starks lost the dribble momentarily, but was able to recover.
Oddly enough, Marv, it turned out to be a deceptive move, which made him more effective.
Knicks and Nuggets tied at 2. Stiff being guarded tightly by Starks. Illegal defense called for the first time. This is the first of 2 meetings between the Knicks and the Nuggets. They split a pair of games last year. Nuggets winning in Denver. Knicks have won 5 of the last 6 against the Nuggets here at Madison Square Garden.
This is the fearful combination that the Nuggets are presenting now. This very young team, as you mentioned, Marv, average 23 years of age, but they're all talented. I mean, there's no dead wood out here. This is talent waiting to really grow into NBA a major force.
And it's a club that has won its last 6 at home. Campbell lost it off his foot, then recovered. Ewing, yes. The Knicks 4, the Nuggets 2. For Denver, game 2 of a 5-game road trip. Their longest road trip of the season. Campbell helping out with the steal. Finds Starks. Nicely done. The Knicks 6, the Nuggets 2.
Tony Campbell, you know, enjoys participating in successful defensive efforts for the Knicks. That'll earn him more and more playing time.
Mutombo in a one-on-one situation. Did not have the move. Abdul Rauf gets it right back to him, and a hard foul by Charles Oakley.
Charles started to show some sympathy for the victim after he creamed him. Charles coming over with a very hard foul. He kind of walked over in that direction looking to see if he could help him up. Take another look at it now. What a nice response by Abdul Rauf. With the coverage coming his way, he had the presence to give the ball up. Charles showed feigned interest in the actions that he created.
Earlier we talked about the youth of this ball club. This is the starting lineup. Rogers 22, Stiff 23, Ellis 23, Abdul Rauf 24, and Mutombo at 27, the aging veteran. 6-4, the Knicks with the lead. 2.5 gone by. Campbell. Well, Tony Campbell hitting on his first field goal, and the Knicks have an 8-4 advantage. Abdul Rauf with that beautiful move right in the face of Doc Rivers.
Well, you know, he gave up the ball the first 4 times he had it in his role as point guard, and it was time.
Ewing. Patrick Ewing with a beautiful maneuver against Dikembe Mutombo.
Pretty nice move if he can get that one off the NBA's best shot blocker.
Yes, Mutombo leading the NBA, averaging almost 5 per game. And a nice touch shown by LaFonso Ellis, one of the league's outstanding rookies last season. The Knicks 10 and Denver 8. Starks with the quick release. Yes, and both clubs are on fire here in the early going.
Well, Bryant knew what was coming with John Starks. In fact, he was quoted as saying he's never seen a shot he didn't like, so I better be on him.
Ellis. The hot shooting continues. The Knicks 6 of 8. The Nuggets 4 of 6. And the Knicks lead 12-10. Campbell with a post up on Rogers, and he's called for offensive foul. The basket will not count.
Tough move by Tony Campbell, even dealing with a bigger guy. Rogers wider certainly than Tony Campbell, although he's listed at 6'7" as Tony is, but Tony worked hard to get that hoop.
Rodney Rogers, very physical player, does not have a post-up game, prefers to face the basket, still working on the offensive end. Ewing from behind, called for the foul, looking for the block. So for Patrick Ewing, that is his first.
Now, if you're a player, you say, Mr. Official, just because I blocked that shot from behind and you were behind me doesn't mean I fouled him.
Is that what you say, Mr. Official?
Yes, you do. You do.
I would think that would be a nice start with the
That's what I learned.
Mr. Official.
I see. Mr. Official.
Very personal
You
touch.
can get angry with poise that way, you know, and not get the technical.
It's like saying, hey, pal. Well, the Knicks with a 12-10 lead as Ellis missed on both. Starks works off the pick. Oakley try to save it. It will be Denver ball.
You know, part of the rhythm of a jump shot is timing the defense and where they are. I wouldn't be surprised if John Starks, after coming around that pick, was distracted by the lack of defense. Might have thrown him off a little bit.
Rogers gets it inside to Ellis. They collapsed on him. Good play by Starks to knock it away. Starks with the recovery. 3-on-2, and then it's picked off by Stiff.
Excellent read of that play by Stiff.
Abdul Rauf getting it high off the glass to elude Ewing. Beautiful move.
The great ones can do that. In the middle of a play, when they see the roof falling on them, can adjust the shot successfully.
The game is tied at 12. Starks for Ewing. Last touch by the Nuggets. And Dan Issel calls for time with 6:56 remaining in this first quarter.
Well, here's the thing.
I don't have much in my pants.
Well, what I was thinking is it might be just a proportional thing. For instance, your penis on me might look fine.
Exactly.
Because I'm only 5'6".
I've analyzed that. And
in fact, it might look freakish.
Yes.
If you think about it.
I'll be honest with you, no.
Right.
I am like a turtle. I don't know what it is, but you don't see anything on me practically. And I am telling you that my genitalia size would be embarrassing on any man.
All right, Howard, I accept that. But you know what?
With 6.5 remaining in this first quarter. Rivers gets to it. Oakley. Oh, strong move by Oakley and a tip by Campbell.
Well, that's fine teamwork by both players. You got to feel good for Campbell when he can get an offensive tip, and that move by Oakley was impressive because he took that ball to the rim.
The Knicks lead by 2. Mutombo now being guarded by Oakley. Rivers with the steal. Recovered by Oakley. Starks passed on the 3. Goes for the 2. Yes. The Knicks 16. The Nuggets 12.
I don't like to overreact, Mark, to certain things, but sometimes you say that was a great move. I think that was a great move in its simplicity. Everyone knows he shoots the 3. Starks knew the defense knew it, so he faked it and then worked his way into that short jump shot. So well done.
John Starks looking to bounce back from a 4 of 13 against the Pacers on Saturday, and off to the good start with 8 points. He's hit 4 of 7 from the field. Again, Campbell looking to post up. Goes to the fadeaway. The Knicks with an 18-12 lead, looking very sharp in the early going.
It's important for Tony Campbell to look sharp as well, because then Pat Riley will leave him in, because those are the Riley rules. You play well, you get time. This is John Starks' move, faking the defense. One fake worked, why not try another and still be able to concentrate and make the shot.
Substitution for Denver, Reggie Williams, who was their first player off the bench, and the man who's hurt the Knicks in the past has come on for Rodney Rogers. Ewing for the foul. So Patrick Ewing will go to the line. Dikembe Mutombo charged with his first. Ewing on Saturday against the Pacers, 10 for 10 from the free throw line. The Knicks have hit 9 of 15 from the field here in this first quarter. Just under 5 minutes remaining.
Well, Mutombo, the man of the hour as far as leaderboard and shot blocks, coming in tonight a shade under 5 per game. Patrick Ewing is creeping up. Patrick has been on a roll lately with shot blocks. As Pat Riley said, we've got to turn him loose. When Patrick goes and helps, then we've got to help him out too. But he's always been one of the great helpers in the league, and that's what's happening more and more now.
And Denver leads the NBA with 167 blocked shots. They have blocked 10 or more in 9 games. Nice pass by Abdul Rauf. Beautiful ball movement. And Mutombo cuts it to a 19-14 Knick lead.
It's rare when you can focus on the talent of a guy who can feed the ball inside, but anyone watching this game is going to focus on Abdul Rauf's ability in that department.
John Starks has 10 points. Passing at both ends, both clubs working the ball well. And now Abdul Rauf in a situation where he's forcing shots. Did get the foul call right there, but this is the danger area with this very good young player, but he's not a true point guard. Looks for the shots first.
Those are his instincts, and after starting the game, giving the ball up a lot, now he's kind of reverting to true form, which is that other shooter.
He's hit now 31 straight foul shots. He is #1 in the NBA, just under 95%. Last season, as Chris Jackson should be pointed out, so his free throw shooting has not been affected. He shot 94% and was second in the NBA to Mark Price of the Cavaliers. The Knicks 21 and the Nuggets 16. Rivers, yes, Doc Rivers creating for himself. And the Knicks now 11 of 17. They lead by 7.
Rivers has been sparkling here in the opening quarter. Not only that shot, but also his rebounding from the guard position and his defense.
Ellis getting inside and was able to get it over Ewing. The Knicks lead 23-18. LaFonso Ellis in his second year out of Notre Dame. Oakley was held by Ellis. Substitution, Robert Pack, who has been a good pickup, will replace Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, who departs with 6 points. Robert Pack spent a year with Portland, with Denver last year. Nuggets love his quickness and explosiveness. He's played well. Here's Campbell. Tony Campbell off to the fast start. 8 points on 4 out of 5 shooting.
Pack only joined the club on December 3rd because of a contract dispute, and it's taking him a while now to get into it.
Traveling violation. Jess Kersey thought about it for just a moment. And Mutombo called for steps. Denver takes a timeout. 3:15 remaining in the first quarter. The Knicks lead by 7.
Bulls, turtles, bunnies, and a cheer.
Actually offered, he was in the starting lineup, offered to come off the bench to allow the rookie Rodney Rogers to start, and Williams will be able to bolster things by coming off the bench. We talked about that with Coach Dan Issel.
It's good that a player puts the team in front of himself, and Reggie realized that we were struggling with the people that were coming off the bench. We weren't getting a lot of production off the bench, and so he came and said, you know, if I can come off the bench and help the team, I'd be glad to do it. And so he's the 6th man now, and Rodney Rogers is in the starting lineup.
Ewing giving the Knicks a 27-18 lead. Back to the subject of Reggie Williams. We just heard Dan Issel's comments about the most unselfish move. That is very, very unusual. And as we say that, Reggie Williams hits from the outside.
Well, Marv, it's nice when a player's thoughts combine with what's best for the team, too. I mean, Reggie Williams really isn't an NBA forward. That's been found out throughout his career. He's too thin, even though he's 6'7", and he's not really a guard, a starting guard in the NBA. Stith is much better suited to that, as is Abdul-Rauf. So he's perfectly suited to come off the bench because he's good at both positions, but not outstanding at either one.
And Reggie Williams has turned around his career in recent season. He struggled his first 3 years in the NBA. Last 2 years, he's averaged 18 and 17. He's provided instant offense. Reggie, a teammate of Patrick Ewing at Georgetown. Here's Brian Williams, former member of the Orlando Magic, replacing Dikembe Mutombo. Leads with 6 points and 2 personal fouls. Anthony Mason on the floor for the first time on a day that he has been celebrating his 27th birthday. So Mason is now up front along with Ewing and Campbell. Rivers and Starks in the backcourt. That's a forced shot by Williams. Coming up on 2 minutes left in this first quarter. Mason saw the opening. Oh, what a move. Anthony Mason giving the Knicks an 11-point advantage. Here's Pack with a burst. And then he gave it up. Double pump by Ellis. The Knicks 31, the Nuggets 22. Starks changed his mind. Good catch by Ewing to get inside and draw the foul.
Well, the birthday boy saw that middle open up, and down he went. He's a left-handed shooter, preferably, but he can go right, as he's demonstrated time and again over his long life. Met his mom, Marv, coming into the Garden the other night, and she said, I want you to know that Tuesday is Anthony's birthday. And I said I would wisely pass that along to Marv.
I have been saving for the present. Anthony said he prefers cash, though.
All right, you are.
Brian Williams called for that foul. And Patrick Ewing, spending much time at the line here in the first quarter, is 4 of 6 from the line. Was last touched by Campbell. Looked like he jammed his finger on it. Minute 50 remaining in this first quarter. The Knicks 32, Nuggets 22. Good fast-paced opening quarter for the Knicks, who are trying to make it 4 straight wins. They come in at 13-4, leading the Atlantic by 2.5 over the Orlando Magic. Denver Nuggets not only have a solid young starting unit, but pretty good strength off the bench with the likes of Reggie Williams and Robert Pack and Brian Williams, and they have all played well. Nice play by Mason. Ellis on the recovery goes to the running hook and just did beat the 24.
What a tough move. The return of the hook shot. Dan Issel might have something to do with that.
Traveling violation on Ewing. 10 points for Ellis. The ball goes back to Denver. Yes, Dan Issel did use a little baby hook as part of his repertoire, as I recall.
Well, anybody that comes out of the University of Kentucky and the tradition of hook shooting, and I go back to Cliff Hagan days, might respect the hook shot. So we'll give Dan credit, even though he may not have anything to do with that hook shot.
Little baby hook that he had that I'm sure LaFonso Ellis is unaware of. Stiff gets inside, rejected by Ewing, and it will be Denver ball. So Patrick Ewing with the block shot.
Moves like that have your teammates call you a big guy. Patrick Ewing, quick to the help. That's a sight Pat Riley and the coaching staff would like to see a lot more of. Patrick Ewing is certainly capable of that.
A hand for Tony Campbell as he heads off, replaced by Anthony Bonner. Here's Brian Williams. Last touch. Let's see, well, the officials now conferring, and Jess Kersey first was saying knocked out of bounds by Denver, and then checked with the outside man, Bob Delaney, who had the better view, and his indication was the Knicks deflected it out. So it will be Denver ball. 55 seconds to go in this first quarter. The Knicks lead 32-24. Robert Pack setting it against Doc Rivers. Brian Stiff. Reggie Williams. Pack off the spin. And Ewing with the rebound. Mason. Nice box out by Williams.
Starks and Ewing each with 10 points. Tony Campbell with 8 for 28 of the Knicks' 32 points.
Down to 10 seconds. Nuggets playing the clock here. Time running out. First quarter. Rivers try to draw the foul. And that basket does count. Tom Hammonds with 2 seconds as they readjusted the clock, and Starks fires. So after one, it's the Knicks 32, the Denver Nuggets 26. Well, yesterday, the 10th anniversary of the highest scoring game in the history of the NBA. A game involving the Detroit Pistons and the Denver Nuggets. 186-184 the final in triple overtime. Isaiah Thomas at 47 leading Detroit. Kiki Vanderway 51 points to lead the Denver Nuggets. Now in that very same season, so anniversary time for this too, Portland scored a franchise high 156 points against the Denver Nuggets. A game that remains, I would say, in infamy, John, because Doug Moe, then the coach of the Denver Nuggets, told his players don't play any defense, allowing Portland to score a franchise high 156 points, and the league deemed that Doug was making a mockery of the game. He was hit with a fine. It was not very well accepted, but both those incidents taking place in the 1983 season.
Doug is on the golf course these days.
Yes, he is. Well tanned. Well, Patrick Ewing having his difficulties at the line tonight. He's 4 of 7 from the line. Second quarter getting underway. Ewing was fouled by Hammonds. Bonner, Mason, Ewing up front. Hubert Davis has come on for the first time. He's in the backcourt with John Starks. The Knicks 32 and the Nuggets 26. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutwig, Walt Clyde Frazier from the Garden. Pack try to explode. Davis off the steal, and Abdul Rauf try to get it back, could not. What a play by Anthony Bonner.
So fast that happened. The Nuggets have come out running, and the Knicks are doing the better job in that department as far as finishing plays.
Abdul Rauf. And Brian Williams deflects it out. In the first quarter, the Knicks hit on 14 of 22. That's 64% shooting. And Denver, 11 of 20. They came on late, and they shot 55% from the field. Ewing got position, then faced the double team. Reggie Williams wrestles it free. Whip pass for Hammonds. Tom Hammonds in his 5th season out of Georgia Tech, at one point a #1 draft pick of the Bullets back in '89. Spent 3 years with Washington, then on to Charlotte and Denver. Herb Williams getting set to come on. Bad pass. Knicks got a break. Last touch by the Nuggets. Here comes Herb Williams for Patrick Ewing, who leads with 10 points. 3 of 5 from the field, 4 of 8 from the foul line.
Solid effort so far for Patrick, who has been up to the task of dealing with his pupil in many ways, Dikembe Mutombo.
Mutombo sitting down in the first quarter after he picked up his second foul. And Brian Williams now operating at center, and he is facing Herb Williams. Shot clock at 7. Starks is blocked. Starks gets it back. Good fake. He lost it. Reggie Williams bounced the ball on the baseline inadvertently, and the Knicks will get a new 24.
Another look at this follow through here by the Nuggets. One could disagree with that, but officials always win.
Mr. Official pointing at the baseline. Here's Kersey with the call. Davis is wide open. The Knicks lead 36-28. Robert Pack in his 3rd year out of the University of Southern California, accelerating on Hubert Davis. He's called for an offensive foul.
Well, for Hubert to hang with a speedy Pack is quite impressive, and then draw the foul, meaning he was right with him. Pretty good movement defensively by Hubert Davis.
Now Davis being guarded by Abdul Rauf, trying to lose him on a pick. He did, but Williams switched off. Bonner off the spin, did not have the shot. Pack with the intercept. Here's Hammonds. Oh, using his speed. Tom Hammonds, with great athletic skills, has hurt the Knicks. 6 points on 3 of 3 from the field. The Knicks lead by 6. Williams lost it. Another Knick turnover. Denver gives it right back.
Well, the Knicks are not doing a good job of containing Robert Pack as he flies over half court. They're being caught in retreat positions because of his speed. They got to start addressing him out front.
The Knicks with their 6th turnover. Hubert Davis on target. He's hit 2 of 2. The Knicks with a 38-30 lead. Well, Hubert doing it in front of his uncle, Walter Davis, who is color commentating, along with a fellow by the name of Al Albert on Denver Nugget television.
Lots of Williams is here tonight. Multiple Alberts are here. Yes, just a great family night. Also, Hubert Davis's dad is here, playing both sides.
That's Walter on the left, John.
Thank you, Marv. One of the NBA's great scorers during his illustrious career.
And Jess Kersey indicating double technical fouls. Now,
Herb Williams, I believe, with the technical. And the point I wanted to make, Mark, to put some pressure on the shooter was Abdul Rauf has not missed a foul shot on the road this year.
obviously only one technical foul. And it was on Herb Williams.
So we'll subtract one from what looked like a double.
No indication as to why the technical was called. Here's Pack. And he'll go to the line.
I would think, Marv, it had something to do with a verbal response. Herb is not very demonstrative, and he's a very quiet man. But I think he might have made himself heard in a dispute.
Herb Williams called for the personal foul, and Pack cuts that Knick lead to 38-32. Eight and a half remaining in this first half. The Knicks, led by as many as 11, now lead by 5.
Pat Riley having a lot to say in the direction of John Starks. He threw that pass, Starks did, and it was deflected out of bounds. Perhaps it had to do with no deception by John in delivering that telegraphed pass.
And John Starks departing with 10 points, 5 of 11 from the field. So Doc Rivers is back, teaming with Hubert Davis, Anthony Mason, Herb Williams, Anthony Bonner up front. Davis. And a loose ball foul is called against the Nuggets. It's on Reggie Williams. That is his first. And for Denver, their second team foul. Anthony Mason. And the Knicks now by 7.
The Knicks are moving the ball particularly well here in the first half, finding the open men.
Hammonds, Bonner fell down, involved in that collision, and Tom Hammonds has hit 4 of 4 for 8 points.
Well, if you realize the contact that Hammonds underwent before he made that shot, he creams the defender, and it didn't bother the shot at all.
Herb Williams. Both clubs shooting well here in the first half. Anthony Bonner setting up down low. Bonner with the post-up move through the foul. Putting the move on Reggie Williams.
See, a play like that set up just for Bonner is kind of a thank you to a guy who does the dirty work. Bonner doesn't feed off set offenses. He feeds off loose ball, running the court, those situations. Once in a while, it's nice to throw him a set play, give him a chance to be an important offensive contributor.
Timeout has been called by the Knicks.
With 7:06 to go in the first half. We'll take a look now at our Delta Airlines upcoming schedule. Thursday night, the Lakers come here. 7 o'clock Knicks game night. Friday night, the Knicks at Chicago. And Monday, the Knicks return home to the lowly Dallas Mavericks. That is a 7 o'clock game night.
Hey.
Oh, Marv, get down. Well, I hope that you get together with your former NBC teammate Quinn Buckner before the game and get the real poop.
It has not been an enjoyable season for Quinn in many ways, on and off the court. 1-18 the record. They've lost 15 in a row. The Knicks game in Dallas that we did several weeks back took the appearance of watching a scrimmage. You knew it was no contest. 1 up, 18 down. Dallas Mavericks, who are home tonight for Portland. The Knicks leading the Nuggets 42-35 with 7 minutes left in this first half. Ryan Williams putting the moves on Herb Williams. Ryan Williams with a beautiful head fake. Incidentally, earlier we talked about Herb Williams being called for a technical foul. That was the announcement on the public address, and we checked it out. It turns out it was an illegal defense. Herb Williams was arguing the call. He was the man who was illegal, but Mason called for a travel, but it was not a technical on Herb. It was for the Knicks their second illegal defense violation. Knicks lead by 5 as Pack try to slip through. The pass off the mark. Davis had a 3-on-2 momentarily. Mason posting Ellis. Goes to the fadeaway. Yes. Anthony Mason with one of his favorite moves.
Tough move. He fed off the defense. He kind of banged into the defense and then sprung away.
Oh, there is the explosiveness of Robert Pack. And the Knicks now lead by 5. Crowd grumbling wanted a technical foul because he hung on the rim, but he was trying to brace his fall, so there was no T involved there.
Play like that's very embarrassing to the big men on the Knicks.
Gilbert Davis had very little daylight, but he is on fire here tonight. 3 out of 4, all from outside. Offensive foul called on LaFonso Ellis.
Robert Pack has explosiveness in those legs. Nobody could deal with it. Nobody was quick enough. The call this year is a technical foul if you do hang on the rim, but if you're doing it for the purpose of avoiding hitting someone when you come down, it is not judged technical foul.
The Knicks lead by 7. Rivers. Earlier he hit that same shot. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Knicks and the Denver Nuggets. Second of a 3-game homestand. Knicks and Lakers here on Thursday, and then the Knicks head to Chicago for a Friday night game with the Bulls. Ellis with a very soft touch. Knicks lead by 5. Both clubs continue to shoot well. Davis played by Stiff. Long rest period for both Mutombo and Ewing. Rivers. Ryan Williams with the rebound. And now Mutombo and Ewing getting set to return. Charles Oakley will also come on. Ellis. Mason. Mason had the step. Once again able to put the move on Ellis.
The Knicks are not feasting on the offensive boards as they have, or they do usually with Charles Oakley on the court.
Foul called on Davis. Got a piece of Williams. And now the substitutions. Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley. Replacing Herb Williams, Anthony Bonner. Hubert Davis also will sit down. Hubert gets a hand. 3 out of 4 from the field. John Starks returns. And Reggie Williams to the line. Dikembe Mutombo is back on the floor.
Reggie Williams left Georgetown 6 years ago as the #3 scorer in their history and '3 rebounder. And as you see, was a teammate of Patrick Ewing on their NCAA championship experience together.
Yes, Reggie, after having a difficult time for 3 teams in his first 3 NBA seasons, has certainly found a home in Denver. Solid player the last 3 years. Ewing again isolated against Mutombo, and foul is called. A reaction foul by Ewing, who was upset with the hand check by Mutombo, went back at him, and in doing so here picks up his second.
Yes, Patrick made an overt move, and it's a rather tight call because there wasn't much contact. No one. It was more the gesture of the movement that was deemed an infraction by the official than any harm done.
The Knicks at one point led by as many as 11. They have led most of the way, and a foul called, an offensive foul on Pack. That was set up beautifully by Rivers. Doc with a conversation with the Denver assistant coaches, Mike Evans and Gene Little.
Well, Doc has the reputation, Marv, I think, of being a flopper, which Bill Laimbeer made famous in the NBA. The description of a player going down is John Starks with a sensational drive. The idea where a defender just falls on any contact. Doc earlier tonight fell and did not get the benefit of the call. The officials are wary of that, so when they call it, they really believe it.
Alfonso Ellis cuts it to a 3-point Knick lead. Big first half for Ellis. He has 14, and he's the high scorer for Denver. Starks leading the Knicks with 12. Rivers for 3. Rivers on the follow. Oh, what a play. Doc Rivers showing the hustle. Oakley from deep. Rebounded by Mutombo. Stiff. Mason off the board. 2.5 to go in this first half. Mason got caught. He wasn't sure whether he wanted to pull up, give the ball to Ewing, and he's called for traveling. Timeout taken. The Knicks 48, Nuggets 45.
To say when. A reminder from Budweiser. You know who you are. Long shot out of the deep corner. Doc Rivers following his shot, losing his balance, finding a teammate as he hits the floor. Unfortunately, the Knicks didn't finish with a field goal that would have resulted in a round of applause in Doc's direction.
2:20 remaining in the first half. The Knicks lead by 3. Tony Campbell has returned, got off to the good start in the first quarter. And Ewing with the block. Ewing gave it back. Rogers rejected by Campbell. Abdul Rauf working his way in. Mutombo took control. Ellis does. Many opportunities for the Nuggets. Not able to convert. And Jess Kersey calling an official timeout. Appears as if there was an inadvertent horn. And Jess is trying to get to the bottom of it.
Marv, in the meantime, I'd like to focus on Bryant. That's a T at the end of that. Stiff. And Bryant has been held scoreless here in the first half. He's the second leading scorer on this team and comes in off his career and Denver season high of 33 points against San Antonio Saturday night. The Knicks have done a big job preparing for this guy who the Denver management just loves as a complete all-around player, but he hasn't shown his offensive skills as yet to the Knicks.
0 for 5 tonight. Brian Stiff, #1 pick of the Nuggets last year, the 13th selection overall in the draft. Last year, injury hit, missed 43 games because of a broken right foot. The Knicks by 3, down to 10 on the shot clock. Ewing. Good hustle by Ellis. Mutombo. Struck by Rivers. Now, Dan Issel does not want Dikembe Mutombo handling the ball. Rivers went for the steal and knocked it away.
Well, Mutombo with his hustle just got there, and that's what happens when 7-footers put the ball on the floor generally. Guards just pick it apart.
Rodney Rogers, rookie from Wake Forest, will throw it in. Rogers, Ellis, Mutombo up front. Denver back to its starting lineup. Abdul Rauf and Stiff in the backcourt. That's Stiff with the ball guarded by Starks. And the call against Denver. Offensive foul. It's on Ellis. And for Ellis, his third personal.
The hustle of Doc Rivers that resulted in that foul. Ellis setting the pick. And Rivers staying with Abdul Rauf, you know, was hit very hard by that pick by Ellis. You know, if Rivers took the short way around that pick, the foul wouldn't have been called, but maybe Abdul Rauf would have gotten an easy jump shot.
Ellis sitting down after picking up his third, replaced by Tom Hammonds. A minute 10 remaining in the half. Oakley. Charles missing from long range on his last 2 attempts.
Well, he hasn't been in the flow of the offense. He just hasn't gotten into getting the ball on any kind of regular basis.
And Oakley not shooting well as of late following the good start. Mutombo with a line drive hook. 45 seconds left in the half. Campbell cuts it off. Ewing off a double team.
The Denver Nuggets are doing an excellent job on their defensive boards. The Knicks are not causing the usual problem getting their own missed shots.
15 seconds to go in the half. Knicks with a 3-point lead. Abdul Rauf. Oh, he drills it home. And the Knicks lead is 1. Final seconds of the half starts with the one-on-one move to set up Campbell. The basket counts. Knicks had missed their previous 6 field goal attempts. Oakley with the buzzer basket. So at the half, here at the Garden, it's the Knicks 50, the Denver Nuggets 47. Coming up in a moment, Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk. Then we'll be joined by Al and Clyde.
Ball game. With all the young talent on this Denver Nuggets team, you get a sense as to why Denver is excited about this team with attendance up near 16,000 a game. Walt Clyde Frazier will join me in a matter of moments to analyze the first half, but right now we go to Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk.
Thank you, Al. Hi again, everybody. Interesting story at Cleveland tonight where Brooklyn native Lenny Wilkens has made a triumphant return as head coach of an Atlanta Hawks team that has won a franchise record 13 straight games. Hawks are trailing at halftime, though, 50-42. Wilkens and company are 14-4, have a 4-game lead atop the Central Division. They went on a 14-2 run in the opening quarter. Terrell Brandon starting for the injured Mark Price, misses that jumper. Kevin Willis starts to break. Mookie Blaylock back to Willis. Nobody bothers him at all. He had 10 in the half. Jerseyite Mike Fratello saw his Cavs down 29-24 after 1. Then they fashioned a run of their own in the second stanza. Ex-Knick Gerald Wilkins all the way to the hole, gets the hoop in the call. He leads all scorers with 14 at the moment. Wilkins made that free throw, 43-35 Cavs there, and again they lead by 8 at intermission. Great news on Bobby Hurley. He is much improved today. Late in the day, Sacramento authorities served a search warrant on a local medical center seeking blood samples of the driver who hit Hurley in their near-fatal crash on Sunday night. In addition to all the headaches Chuck Daly already has, the Nets were not apparently overjoyed to see ex-Knick Johnny Newman join the team. Derek Coleman, in fact, publicly called the trade of Rumeal Robinson for Newman, and I quote, crazy, ludicrous. Newman responds, I understand, I've been around, eventually we'll talk about it. Also today, the Lakers waived Kurt Rambis, ex-Net Jack Haley is signed with San Antonio, and former St. John star David Kane signs with Rochester of the CBA. Now these messages.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, and with Alamo, all those miles are free.
It stretches from Boston to Los Angeles, from Miami to Seattle.
Bomb took out a shotgun from the vehicle and committed suicide on the spot, almost 25 years old. Randall Cunningham said today he would try to return to action this Sunday against Indianapolis after missing the last 9 games with a leg injury. With the Eagles now 5-8, apparently about to begin a rebuilding program, Cunningham was asked today if he wouldn't rather be traded.
I like Philadelphia. People are great here to me. You know, we've got a lot of people I'm in contact with. Got families and people that I take care of. There's a kid in South Philadelphia who I've just taken on like a big brother who's lost his mom, his father's not around, and
I can't just abandon them, you know. So I got a responsibility not only to football, but to people that I know that I help out, and to our church over there, you know. So I don't want to go anywhere.
Very refreshing these days. Hockey tonight at the Coliseum. Devils Islanders tied 1-1 in the second period. More tonight and every night at 11 o'clock from the sports desk. Back to courtside in just a minute.
It's about time and making the most of it.
Mutombo were part of a delegation that went to refugee compounds in Kenya and Zambia. The members of the tour got a close-up look at refugees' daily struggle. Are educated about the world they live in and feel very good about the efforts they put forth in Kenya and Zambia. Now back to Marv Albert and John Andres as we turn once again to the game of basketball.
All right, Al. And we're just about set for the start of play in the second half. A check of the halftime statistics. Both clubs shot well. Nuggets 53% and the Knicks at 50% on 22 of 44. Even off the board. 17 rebounds apiece. Denver 13 turnovers. Knicks with 9. Knicks with a 3-point lead at the half by the count of 50 to 47. And a check of the Toyota matchup.
Matchup of the evening, the two big men, Ewing and Mutombo. Patrick Ewing coming out ahead in the statistics department in the first half. Mutombo played 13 minutes, Ewing 18 minutes.
Neither player burning it up in the first half. Ewing stopped. Oakley tried to save it. He did, but it's handled by Ellis. Abdul Raouf tried to get the step. Rivers played him well. Ellis on the follow. And back comes Rivers. Oakley with room. Charles has been off with the outside shot. Abdul Raouf gets it down. He's in the backcourt with Brian Stiff, Rodney Rogers, LaFonso Ellis, Dikembe Mutombo on the front line. Stiff with it. Mutombo. Well, he got the step. And with no help, was able to put it home.
Nice move by him, too, the way he extended after beating Ewing right to the rim. He hasn't had a blocked shot in the game so far. Mutombo, the NBA's best in that department at almost 5 a game, hasn't had one. Ewing had 2 alone in the first half.
Foul committed by Mutombo, his third. He picked up 2 early and sat down. That's why he played only 13 minutes. Patrick Ewing with 18 minutes in the first half. He set out for a stretch. And Ewing, after hitting 10 of 10 from the line against Indiana here on Saturday, only 4 of 8 from the free throw line. The Knicks led at one point by as many as 11. They now lead 51 to 49. Ewing coming in averaging just under 22 per game, 13th in scoring. John Starks next on the Knicks scoring rundown at 20.5 per game. Off the steal, here comes Rivers. Rivers feeding Oakley, but he pops it back out. Campbell with the open shot. Tony Campbell has had the touch. 5 of 7 from the field, 10 points.
Patience was a virtue on that particular play. The Knicks had a fast break. They didn't get it, so they pulled it back out again and found the open man. All the defenders had gotten together under the basket to stop the break. The ball moved out to the open guy, and Campbell had an easy one.
Mutombo with the jump hook. Many off-balance shots. Low percentage shots attempted by Dikembe Mutombo.
Ewing is making it difficult for him by not allowing him room.
Oakley blocked by Mutombo. So that was his first rejection. Here's Stiff. Starks knocked it away. Stiff continues to have trouble offensively. Abdul Rauf, he has 10 points. And the Knicks now lead 54-51.
You see the example of the Tourette syndrome disease that bothers Abdul Rauf. Picked it up as a teenager. It's a tremendous distraction to him. And what a challenge for him personally as he has managed to not only deal with it, but overcome it as a professional athlete working at the highest level of his sport.
Rogers called for the foul, putting Campbell on the line. Yes, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, formerly known as Chris Jackson, able to deal with what is a nervous disorder, Tourette's syndrome, that causes nervous tics and repetitive motions. Baseball player Jim Eisenreich receiving much publicity over the years because he also suffered from Tourette's syndrome. But he has handled it. One of the other byproducts of Tourette's syndrome is every once in a while he can't control his screaming. And I understand last year, here's Ellis. It occurred during a game, and he received a technical foul because the official thought that he was yelling at him. Campbell, he thought he was fouled. And Abdul Rauf got a kick out of that. Players did not let that one go untouched.
There has been a lot of good humor that has come out of his situation with his teammates as he has been unable to control himself verbally from time to time, and they've actually turned this malady into fun on occasion, and it's just being handled so well. And what an example he will be as a visible person to others afflicted.
3 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Patrick Ewing extending to a 58-51. Knick lead, 22nd timeout taken by Denver coach Dan Issel.
It was an example, Marv, as Filifandi captured the story of Abdul Rauf from today's Daily News about a practice session at the Downtown Athletic Club yesterday with the Denver Nuggets, and Abdul Rauf let out with a scream at one point. Everybody turned around and he said, "That was intentional." Yes. That was no accident. He wasn't happy with his own play. He went out and lost 30 pounds in the offseason, was devoted to becoming a point guard. He proved he can certainly play the shooting guard position. That's how he came into the NBA. He also wanted to be a distributor and a playmaker. We see him handling the ball as a point guard more and more now to develop his talent further and become a real team player, not just an offensive force.
Abdul Rauf off the mark right there, and a loose ball foul. It's on Oakley. That is his second. The Knicks, their first team foul. Nice crossover move, and then Rivers on the recovery stripped Abdul Rauf. Now Rivers lost the dribble and recovered. Oakley, yes. Charles Oakley showing the frustration of missing the earlier outside shot. Finally puts it home.
Funny when you see him play a mega shot, you think he'd smile and be happy. No, he's mad because of the other ones he missed.
The Knicks by 9. The Knicks in the midst of a 10-2 run. Ewing rips it down. Starks all the way. Back come the Nuggets. Abdul Rauf, not a good shot. Stiff hits the follow. Stolen by Ellis, and a foul call. Good foul, though, on Campbell. Here's Reggie Williams reporting back in.
Abdul Rauf handling that ball, taking the shot himself. Stiff coming in on the miss. Boy, his performance tonight reminds me of the frustration Tom Gugliotta went through the Washington Bullets here at the Garden last year. Stiff, the second leading scorer on the Denver Nuggets, has failed to score, and it's just a non-factor factor out there. First half, he played 18 minutes. A lot of zeros next to the statistical categories. He's a player that the Denver Nuggets are extremely excited about. He's demonstrated that he is going to be a big-time player in this league.
One of those nights, he's 0 for 6 from the field, comes in averaging 15 per game. Starks trying to dish it off. Starks recaptures, checking the 24-second clock. Down to 5. Down to 3. Down to 1 as Rivers fires. The Knicks 60, the Nuggets 53. 5 minutes gone by in the third. Screen and roll, and we have a whistle. Foul is called. That's a soft foul call on Ewing as he switched off to cover Ellis.
Doubling up on Abdul-Rauf. Ellis put that ball on the drive to the basket. That's Ewing. Not in total agreement, that's for sure.
3 fouls apiece on Ewing and Mutombo. Now Stiff played on a switch by Oakley. Ellis. Oh, he switched hands in midair. 18 points for LaFonso Ellis. And that matches a season high for Ellis. Had an 18-point game last Friday against Utah. The Knicks lead 60-55. Ewing, yes. And a 7-point. Knicks lead 16 for Ewing.
John Starks is averaging almost 5 assists a game, as he did last year, by the way. An aspect of his game you don't hear much about, but his penetration set that up beautifully for Ewing.
Abdul-Rauf. He was open. Oakley threw the foul on hard, driving move by Oakley. Ellis picks up his 4th. 22nd timeout has been called with 5:51 remaining in the third.
Well, Charles Oakley committing himself. Fortunately, he drew the contact. VIPs and more. To receive your free brochure, call 212-268-8844.
Charles Oakley to the line for a couple. Off that driving attempt, he was fouled. Knicks now lead by 8. Charles Oakley averaging 12 rebounds per game. Among the leaders, he was dropped to number 7. Dennis Rodman just under 19 rebounds per game. Dikembe Mutombo just under 13 per game.
New York product, Olden Colony, second in the NBA. And here's a guy who would be described as mediocre throughout his career until this year.
Olden getting playing time at the court. Nice pressure here by the Knicks, and they just do get it across. Close to a 10-second violation. Every once in a while, the Knicks will put on the full-court pressure. Williams had to force the shot. Good defense here by the Knicks. Abdul-Rauf changed his mind. Well, Reggie Williams went to the other side. That's his 3rd field goal. 6 points for Williams. The Knicks 64 and the Nuggets 57. Davis and Starks in the backcourt. Campbell, Oakley, and Ewing up front. Oh, beautiful pass. Oakley flows the layup. He thought he was fouled. Has some words for the official, Jim Kinsey. Reggie Williams way off of that three-point attempt. John Starks now operating as the point guard. Greg Anthony is back home because of the flu, missing his second straight. Davis for three. Yes. Hubert Davis has had a gorgeous stroke right throughout. That's his first from three-point land. He has 9 points. He's hit 4 out of 5, and the Knicks open up a 10-point lead. Nice play by you. No, foul call. Well, it was a nice play, but he also got a piece of Mutombo. That's 4 on Ewing.
Patrick is showing that extra juice tonight against Mutombo. There's a lot of ego on the line in their relationship. Patrick seeing that pass come in with a good effort. Boy, that's a tight call. With all the contact that occurs underneath the basket between big people, really made a heck of a play.
So the Knicks, their 4th team foul. Denver has 3. We approach 4 minutes to go in the third. The Knicks with a 10-point lead. Reggie Williams. Dribbling exhibition. Mutombo. Herb Williams has replaced Patrick Ewing after that 4th foul.
I think Big Herb has better spend some time with Ewing and Mutombo and morning in the summertime to get this personal thing. Herb forgot about Mutombo on that follow-up.
Shot clock down to 2. Davis for 3. Punched out by Herb Williams. And Starks recovers. John Starks hearing it from the crowd for the hustle. Percy with the call against Denver.
Tony Campbell posting up Reggie Williams down low with his size advantage. The Knicks found that relationship out. Reggie Williams called for the foul on that play. Campbell's had a solid game tonight. Anthony Mason is for him now.
3:05 remaining in the third quarter. Here's Starks. And Mutombo with the rebound. Robert Pack back on the floor along with Tom Hammonds, who serves up the air ball. And here's the reaction from the crowd. Davis got the step. Yes. Well, Hubert Davis doing it in front of Uncle Walt and putting on a show. 11 points for Hubert. Walt Davis handling the color commentary for Denver television, along with that Al Albert fellow. In fact, we will be switching to the Denver feed when we come back.
Of this third quarter. Denver shooting 5 of 18 from the field, 28% in the third. Herb Williams, and not only muscling but pushing bodies aside. Anthony Mason. The foul was called on Oakley. This is a tag team matchup of Oakley and Mason against anybody in the blue. So Charles Oakley gets his 3rd personal foul. And we go back the other way. So Reggie Williams will have the foul shot. A minute 54 left in the third. The Knicks have opened up a 10-point lead over the Nuggets. LaFonso Ellis high for the Nuggets with 18. And Patrick Ewing now on the bench with 4 personal fouls, has 15 points. His teammate at Georgetown in the national championship, Reggie Williams, was a freshman on that ball club. Patrick Ewing, a junior. Reggie now coming off the bench. Nuggets' 3rd leading scorer this year, 13 a game, and he has 8 tonight. The Nuggets down by 8. The Knicks with a backcourt of Davis and Starks. Looked down by Brian Williams. Williams and Mutombo up front for the Nuggets have been very effective this year. Robert Pack, and he streaks through and hits. Just the second field goal for Robert Pack. The Nuggets 10 down just moments ago. Now slice it to 6. A minute and a half left in the 3rd quarter. Davis now wrapped up by Reggie Williams. Looks around to Starks. From Williams inside. Makes the move. Mutombo had a piece of that one. Ripped down by Williams. The Nuggets in the fast break. Revving it up is Pack. 17 on the shot clock. A minute 5. And that pass almost took the head of your nephew into the first row of seats. And the cameraman. Walter saying, that to the cameraman. Watch Hubert's head. A minute left in the 3rd. Here is Hubert Davis off the bench, sparking the Knicks in double figures with 11. Anthony Mason outside. Starks for 3. And shoving his way through, getting the ball to Oakley and showing you the kind of soft touch that he has working the boards and working his passes. So the Knicks have stalled after a hit.
All right, the voices of Al Albert, and I believe Walter Davis was working with Al. You know, he was like that as a kid. What a hon.
Well, it's
unbelievable.
Really annoying. A family style of selfish sarcasm.
No, wait a second, John. If I treated you the way Al treated Walter, we would never hear from you. Hubert Davis to Herb Williams. And the Knicks now lead 71-63 with a half minute to go in the 3rd quarter. Who's Al auditioning, doing radio on television?
He's got a very pleasant nasal-like sound, I must say.
I wanted to hear Walter.
After the game, get all you want, Marv.
Brian Williams lost it off his foot. Pointing at Charles Oakley, who wanted a foul called on Oakley. 10 seconds left in the 3rd. Final seconds of the 3rd. The time has run out. The score after 3. The Knicks 71. The Nuggets 63.
It's just a car. Yeah, right.
If you're talking
the man can get.
Coming up soon, St. John's, Georgia Tech, Temple, and Fairleigh Dickinson battling out in the Chemical Bank ECAC Holiday Festival at the Garden. Brought to you in part by Apex and Magitronic. The action gets underway with the semifinal doubleheader on December 27th, followed by the championship doubleheader on December 29th. Tickets are on sale now at the Garden box office and all Ticketmaster locations. Charge, call 212-307-7171.
What about let's Walter read promo? I don't think so. Look at the shooting in the 3rd. Nuggets 6 of 21, and the Knicks 7 of 21. Denver score only 16 in the 3rd. 4th quarter is underway. The Knicks 71, the Nuggets 63. Rivers and Davis in the backcourt. Oakley with Mason and Williams up front. Herb Williams, yes, pretty fast from Charles Oakley, and a foul is called. It's on Brian Williams as he shoved Charles Oakley.
Good opportunity for the Knicks now. More points. Charles Oakley on a nice pass to Herb Williams, and Brian Williams disposes of Charles Oakley rather easily. And the officials picked that out.
one-shot situation for Charles Oakley, the basket count. And as a continuation of that sequence, Oakley was pushed by Brian Williams, so Charles to the foul line. 2 for 2 from the line. 7 points for Oakley and an effective three-point play for the Knicks. And they equal their biggest lead, a margin of 11. Opening minute. Fourth quarter. Marv Albert, John Andrews, Al Trautman, Walt Frazier from the Garden. This call away from the ball against the Knicks. It's called on Hubert Davis. Hubert Davis has come off the bench and done the job providing offense. He has hit 5 out of 8, including 1 from three-point range. 11 points in all. Pack. Ellis. Mason with the rebound. Knick defensive effort has tightened up here in the second half. Denver having much difficulty getting off good shots.
Right now, they're at 43% field goal percentage for the game.
Oakley controlling. Another tip.
Well, Mr. Statistics, Charles Oakley with the rebounding and tip. He can have a rebound every time. He picked up 4 rebounds on this last play.
The Knicks with their biggest lead of the night. 13-point margin, and they're doing it here without Patrick Ewing, who's sent down after his 4th foul. Hammond stopped by Mason. Shot clock at 4. Brian Williams. It counts as a foul, a blocking foul on Herb Williams.
Well, after getting rocked, Anthony Mason dropping off a little bit. Space between the offensive man. Brian Williams with that 6'11" body powers his way in for that follow through, and now on his way to a three-point play himself.
Ryan Williams in his 3rd year out of Arizona, spent the first 2 with Orlando. You recall last year at one stretch in Orlando took a leave of absence because of problems handling the pressure, and then made his return, and he played well for the Nuggets. He was required in the deal for Todd Lipsy and Anthony Cook. Rivers throws it home. The Knicks 78, the Nuggets 66. Reggie Williams trying to shake off Hubert Davis. Reggie Williams gets it back. And Abdul Raouf stopped, knocked away, but recovered. Recovered by Williams. And he called for step. Did not like the hand check technique of Rivers.
And he's telling just Kersey how he feels about that. Rivers distracted Williams to the point of that turnover. Rivers right on, despite the height disadvantage, and that push-off also as part of an infraction.
Herb Williams. Good play by Hubert Davis. First saw the shot opportunity and then fed down low.
Terrific pass down low from Hubert.
Knicks have a 12-point lead with 3 minutes gone by in the 4th. And just Kersey pointing at Anthony Mason and Tom Hammond. Double technicals call.
Well, what happened the last time down court, Hammond rocked Mason, who was guarding him closely, and Mason thought he should have gotten a call on that. He's pretty upset about that. Despite it being his birthday today, number 27. But they've been banging hard at each other, and Mason's meeting a guy in Hammond who's going right back at him. You don't often see that.
And Brian Williams double team. Ended up traveling.
14 South. See you there.
Thanks.
You bet.
Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to Bakersville?
Head right over those mountains.
Thanks.
There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers.
Hi, I got this letter from the deputy sheriff. Kiwi strawberry cocktail.
All right, Bob, and Houston gunning for a record of 20-1. This will be their 5th straight if they hang on for the victory. In the midst of yet another win streak. 11-3 run by the Knicks. Denver continues to struggle from the field after the 6-21, 16-point third quarter. Kemby Mutombo back on the floor. Pushed by Herb Williams. That's 4 on Herb.
Last year, the Denver Nuggets took Mutombo, who thinks he earned a foul while he was attempting shooting. However, that official didn't see it that way. He was fouled before shot attempt. He averaged about 13 a game last year. People thought when he was off, he didn't have a good year after the rookie year when he averaged over 16. The fact of the matter is the Denver Nuggets just didn't rely on him to carry the team offensively. They were very happy with his play last season as well as this year.
Just under 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Knicks with their biggest lead of the night. Abdul Rauf. That's a 2-point field goal. He's only 5 out of 14 has not shot well. 13 points for Abdul Rauf, formerly known as Chris Jackson out of LSU in his 4th NBA season.
Well, it's amazing how Dan Issel is sticking with Bryant Pitt on the court. An awful lot for a guy who just hasn't gotten it going. He's second leading scorer, 15 a game, and he hasn't scored a field goal.
0 for 6. Looks to put the move on Davis. Went to the crossover, and it's stopped by Rivers. The block by Rivers. Ellis lost the dribble off his foot at the 24-second buzzer. The Knicks' defensive effort in the second half has been magnificent.
Well, Pat Riley said coming into tonight's game, it is our defense that has carried us over the last 3. They allowed Indiana 91 points, Golden State 81, and then 78 in the prior game. Hey, Knicks of all-time leading scorers. Patrick Ewing getting closer and closer. 22 points away from Walt Clyde Frazier.
Ewing back on the floor. He's playing with 4 fouls. And Mason will go to the line. Anthony Mason, a one-time member of the Denver Nuggets. He struggled for a while. Played in Turkey, CBA, 21 games with New Jersey in 89-90. Only 3 games with the Nuggets in the 90-91 season. And signed by the Knicks. 3rd year with New York, and he has emerged. Last year, averaged 10 points per game. He has become more and more of a valuable player. And tonight, done the job with 3 out of 5 from the field, 7 points in all. Loose ball foul called on Oakley. That is 4 on Oakley.
Well, one of the concerns of Pat Riley, despite the good defense of late, has been the offense not sustaining itself. Different story tonight, although the Knicks are 44% from the field, still are getting the offense in good form here with good ball movement and constant pressure on Denver.
Denver with 21 turnovers, while the Knicks with only 2 turnovers in the second half. They had 9 in the first half, so they have cut down. Ewing rebounded by Smith.
The Knicks have converted the turnovers of Denver too into points. They've been very good at finishing those opportunities.
This has developed into a very solid game for Charles Oakley. Here's Oakley from Mason, setting up Ewing. Ewing for time.
Catch the best talk in town as Mike Francesa and Jennifer Smith team up on live from the play-by-play after most Knicks and Rangers home games here on MSG Network.
Ball up court. Looks off to Anthony Mason, who loved to finish that play with that slam dunk, and he showed how much he loved it as he came up court. 5 minutes, 12 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks have opened up an 85-68 lead. Denver with only 16 points in the third quarter. Second half, they're shooting 27%, and they have only 5 points in this third quarter. Outscored 16-5 by the Knicks. Abdul Raouf. Abdul Raouf again. And again rebounded by Smith. Mutombo off the head fake. What raw move inside. His post-up game needing much work.
Well, the Knicks are just giving him the Houston Rockets treatment that Ewing got. I mean, they're all over him.
Yes, they have been swarming throughout. It's been a sensational defensive effort by the Knicks against a Denver team that has played well, a record of 9 up and 9 down. That's a travel, but they've been shaken here tonight. Another Nugget turnover and substitutions. Brian Williams, Tom Hammond, Robert Mack checking in.
Well, Bob, also the effect of of Brian Stiff's performance is such that the Nuggets have been playing with 4 men on offense throughout most of this game. That hurts them too, but Issel's really staying with the guy.
And Stiff is now 0 for 8 from the field. Ewing getting down low. Knicks 87, the Nuggets 68-18 for Ewing. Denver is 8 for 33 from the field here in the second half. They have not hit a field goal the last 4 minutes. They have only 5 points in the third quarter. And here's the traditional chant of pizza. The feeling has been that this is a promotion that is winding down, and we may be seeing the last of the pizza chant. 85 points, under 85 points for the opponent, and it is 3 Pizza Hut. So far, the pizza hasn't been tossed up by the sponsor. And now you hear the reaction from the crowd off that three-point shot. Ellis with 21. This is a season high, and the Knicks now lead 87-71.
But I think these hungry fans are starting to face the If Denver doesn't get to 85, there will be 3 pieces in New York.
And all those who have tickets up from the game here tonight, show their subs at Pizza Hut, and we'll be able to get the 3 pieces.
I'm not happy. I gave away 6 tickets.
I see. Sure, you can work it out now within the budget. The Knicks now lead 88-71. Pulling away in the second half. They led by as many as 11. In the first half, Denver made a run, cut it to 3 at halftime. Knicks now lead 89-71. Just under 3 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter, and a foul is called. Darnell Nee on the floor for his first time. Hopefully called for his 5th. Darnell Nee, a rookie from Western Kentucky, will go to the free throw line. He was a second-round draft pick of the Golden State Warriors, from Golden State. Coaches say they remind him of Nate McMillan of the Bulls. Coaches say that he is among the best.
Yes, with his quickness to the double team, that's something that he's already established as one of his particular skills. He's an excellent defender.
Starks off the pick. Starks with the step to the reverse. And a foul. It is a loose ball foul against the Knicks. It's called on Oakley, so he's fouled out. Charles Oakley, 11 points, 14 rebounds, and here's it from the crowd. Strong effort for Charles, who did not shoot well early, but hung in and hit the outside shot and did the job off the board. Tony Campbell will replace Charles Oakley. Tom Hammond to the line for the first time.
Well, one of the missing pieces to this Dan Issel formula that he hopes will be quite successful is that man in the suit, Alvin Robertson, who came over from Detroit. Well, he left a lot of bad blood behind him, but Alvin's one of the game's outstanding defenders, a couple of times Defensive Player of the Year in the NBA, one of the tough veterans in the NBA who's still at the peak of his career.
On the injured list because of lower back spasms. Off the steal, here's Hammond. And he is fouled by Mason. Here's Billy McKinney, the director of player personnel for the Detroit Pistons, and a one-time member of the Denver Nuggets. Not a fan of Alvin Robertson and vice versa. If you look at the steal and the foul by Mason. Alvin Robertson has been well traveled in recent years after spending the bulk of his career with the San Antonio Spurs. And now Dan Issel emptying the bench. Kevin Brooks will come on for Alfonso Ellis, who leads with 21, high man for the Nuggets. Kevin Brooks, three-year man out of Southwest Louisiana, goes 6'8", 200 pounds, and a street shooter, although one of the more unorthodox shooters in the NBA. He's guarding Campbell. Shot clock at 5. Williams breaks it up. Stark shooting. Rebound Brian Williams. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. Knicks lead 89-76. Here is Meade. Yes, a three-pointer for Darnell Meade. Not appreciated by the crowd, looking for the Nuggets to be held under 85. It's now 89-79, the foul call. It's on Sack. Non-shooting foul. Knicks already over the limit. Denver has 4. Minute 35 remaining. Here's Starks for 3. Campbell. Rebounded by Williams. Pack gets it down. Overthrows Brooks. A key pizza turnover, John.
And a very positive response by Dan Issel despite the turnover.
However, the Knicks give it back. Campbell's pass picked off. Brooks is fouled. It is Brooks. And Brooks will go to the line. Campbell called for the foul. So Kevin Brooks to the free throw line for the first time this season. This is only his 7th game. He was a first-round draft pick of Milwaukee. And then moved on to Denver, led the Nuggets in three-point shooting
Knicks fans. Get your copy of the all-new 1994 official New York Knicks yearbook today. This 120-page yearbook is a true collector's item with articles by New York top sports writers, rare never-before-published photos, even a special 30-page section commemorating the first quarter-century of Knicks basketball at Madison Square Garden. Just send $10 check or money order to Knicks Yearbook, 2 Penn Plaza, 3rd floor, New York, New York, 10121, attention debit. That's Knicks Yearbook, 2 Penn Plaza, 3rd floor, New York, New York, 10121, attention debit.
You'd be so nice to come home to. You'd be so nice by the fire. You'd be so.
A football slant with Mark Jackson, Billy Sims, George Rogers, and how did he get on? Bob Gutowski, off through zone. Unbelievable. Pulling his way onto the show, the president of Madison Square Garden. And he'll be grilled, I'm sure. He'll have to explain the performance of Hofstra recently at the left. Absolutely. And coming up tonight at midnight, it'll be Knicks Rewind. A look at the Knicks and Denver for those of you who missed portions of John's pithy comments. Well, this Knicks lead 120 is down to 8. Just under 1 minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Just starts getting inside. Knicks 91 on the Nuggets 81. And the crowd responding because of the pizza promotion, hoping the Nuggets do not hit 85 points. The pack will go to the line. Well, there's Charles Smith in his very attractive-looking suit. Charles featuring a very heavy beard. If you look closely, he said, "I'm not going to shave or get a haircut until I start playing again. I want to stay this way." So we'll keep an eye on him through the coming games to see how the growth is coming along and how he changes his appearance. Charles is working very hard on his recovery. Mark, thanks to microsurgery, players or people can come right back and get into the action. So he's getting himself ready. Oh, me hits Avocado, and it's now 91-84. The Knicks by 7. 40 seconds to go. Me broke it up. He's a very good defensive player. And his last touch by the Knicks. It will be Denver ball. A 10-0 Denver run to get them back into it. The Knicks led by as many as 19 points. Bad pass. Recovered, though, by Brian Williams. John Starks wanted a backcourt violation, but one of the Knicks did tuck it. Brooks fires. Kept alive by Pack. And let's see. Last touch by Denver. It'll be Knick ball with 23 and 9/10 seconds remaining. Now, see, here's where the promotion is bad, John. Now, do the Knicks, to appease the fans, go into a stall with 23 and 9/10 seconds remaining so Denver does not hit the 85-point mark? I mean, it's great for the pizza people, but it just gets in the way of the game. It's been fun. Well, yes, I think we're talking about it as past tense. Timeout call. We'll be back in a moment.
East Coasters like.
Well, after a blistering 52% first half from the field, the Denver Nuggets are right now at 41% for the game. The Knicks defense has been the difference in the second half. Take a look at part of those statistics with our AT&T long-distance shooting numbers. Three-point field goal percentage. The Nuggets, the team that doesn't shoot very much from the field, a little better than the Knicks tonight. John Starks off in his long-range shooting. The Knicks only 1 for 8. Nuggets 2 out of 5 from three-point range. Denver had 71 points with 3:23 remaining. And he's holding a lot of potential free pizza there. Nuggets with 13 points since then. They had only 8 in the first 8.5 minutes of the fourth quarter, so they have come on. The Knicks now lead 91-84. 20 seconds remaining. See how the Knicks play it. You can hear the crowd. They did not want the Knicks to get the ball back to Denver. So the Knicks went right for the basket. Here's Pack.
on 84. Three-point attempt blocked by Davis. Me again. And a foul. Oh. It's called on Stark. So Darnell Mee will go to the line. He is only 5 for 12 from the free throw line coming into today, but 2 of 2 tonight. Here it is.
People are hanging out of the skyboxes.
I wonder if Denver players know what's going on. As he gets the treatment, and it's not able to hit. Final seconds, there will be completion. I must say, John, I never thought I'd end the game saying that. Congratulations, Bob. Carnival time. You've reached the top. So the Nuggets are held under 85. The Knicks defeat the Nuggets. By the way, the Knicks do win the game, 93-84. As the Knicks make it 4 straight wins, they go to 14-4, and Denver drops to a record of 9-10 in this game 2 of a 5-game road trip. We'll be back with our recap in a moment.
Foot Locker definitely has to shoot.
He missed both. The Knicks got the rebound, and you can see the explosion of emotion, not only from the fans who are absolutely delirious, but from the Knicks bench. Clearly, whoever picked 85 as the demarcation line knew what they were talking about, and the Knicks have finally delivered 19,763 pizzas to their fans. Some late turnovers in the game really made things wild and interesting. You got the feeling that Denver knew exactly what Detroit did when Marcus Liberty hit the last-second three-pointer to blow the pizza chances in the Pistons game here at the Garden. But the bottom line is the Knicks have won, and they won by holding the Denver Nuggets to 84 points. That is the magic number. Let's take a look at the Tri-State scoring leader summary brought to you by your Jeep and Eagle dealers from the Tri-State. Patrick Ewing had 20 points for the New York Knicks. 9 rebounds. He outdueled Dikembe Mutombo all game long. John Stark, 18 points on 8 of 21 shooting. He also grabbed 5 rebounds. Tony Campbell had a strong first half. A little bit quieter in the second to finish with 12. Charles Oakley, 11 points and 14 rebounds. Now, the story of the Denver Nuggets, who completely fell apart under the Knicks defensive pressure in the second half. LaFonso Ellis, 21, Abdul Rauf, 13, Hammonds, 11, Mutombo, 10. It was the Knicks and Patrick Ewing winning tonight. Anthony Mason when we come back. You guys were going to just play tight defense, and it clearly worked in the second half.
Yeah, we went in the locker room and we decided there wasn't no fire, wasn't no spirit out there, and we knew we had to come back in. You know, they were in their locker room probably with a lot of confidence, happy that they were only down 3. We knew we had to come out with fire and ignite a run, so we came out, got in their face, and we tried to stop them up, stop their offense.
So you look at, like Brian Stitt, 15 points a game. He comes in, doesn't even get a field goal. That shows the kind of locksmithing that went on out there.
That's what it's all about, the locksmithing. It gets contagious. One person steps up, then another person steps up. Somebody helps, somebody think and feel. It's got to be one continuous motion, and that's what we did in the second half.
Nice birthday wish.
Oh, yeah, beautiful birthday wish.
Did you get any interesting birthday presents?
I haven't gotten any yet. We had practice in the morning. We stayed in the hotel all day, so I see what I got tonight.
Maybe after the game. Well, speaking of practice, yesterday the team went back to basics a little bit. How much of that did you see in this game?
A lot. There was a lot of two-hand catching and coming to the ball. We kind of messed up in a later, in a 1 minute to the fourth quarter, but basically what we were going back to fundamentals was two-hand catching, stop trying to snag it with one hand, going hard, playing aggressive, a lot of fundamentals, passing two-handed, and there was a lot of that today. It was everything.
What allowed Denver to get back into the game in the first half? You're up by 11, and then suddenly they run that string, and it's 3 at halftime.
Like I said, there wasn't no intensity, there wasn't no spirit. We were just running break. They got all the loose balls, so we had to come out with fire in the second half.
All right, halftime, it was a great display, ethnic understanding night. You're the chairman of it, second year in a row. We saw some great little kids playing basketball on the floor here at Madison Square Garden. Boys and girls, as I said, Asian kids, black kids, Jewish boys wearing yarmulkes. What are your thoughts?
That's what it's all about. Everybody should be able to play together, work together, live together. It's, you know, when you start judging a person because they're different in any kind of way, that's terrible. So racial understanding is a great day, you know, for people to start researching on other cultures, looking at other people, their habits and ways, and you'll see they're just like, you know, we all bleed red. We all the same people. You know, a lot of people got different beliefs in different ways, but that doesn't make them a bad person.
Is that something that you and the Equitable can help spread to other cities in the NBA, you think?
I feel us being role models and making a big thing out of it, it could spread to other cities. And once you get out into society and people really see that, you know, a different color person or a different religion is, you know, not bad or good, you know, then it'll be a lot less violent attacks. It'll be a lot less conflict and stuff like that.
Well, congratulations. It's a very nice thing you're doing. One other light touch before we go. The latest haircut says Mo Better. Freddie from Queens is here. Freddie, could you just join us for a moment? This is the man who cuts, or should we say sculpts, Anthony Mason's hair. What about the latest effort here, Fred?
Yeah, we decided to do that before him because, you know, he's been improving every year. I think it's great. I feel nice.
How did you two get together?
Oh, I've been cutting him for a long time, you know, so that's my family.
All right, Mace, what's the masterpiece, the one that you haven't done that's really going to, you know, put the mark on his career?
No, we're going to wait for the playoffs, and we're going to come up with a big masterpiece. We're thinking of it now.
we talking multicolored here?
No, we aren't going to go to colors. This is going to be something that people just can't believe.
Well, Freddie, I know we have plans to visit you and with Anthony Mason share in the next haircut, so that should be interesting. Well, Anthony, you got one more game at home here against the Lakers on Thursday, then Friday on the road to Chicago. How's the team looking at the recent stretch of games that you have ahead?
We're looking at it as a positive thing. I think we have 8 of 10 out of the next 10 at home, and we feel that's a lot of cushion. If we come out and play Knicks basketball, we can't let it, take it for granted or let it slide at any point. But the teams coming in are good. We just got to play ball, and if we do, then we'll have a nice cushion going down the stretch when we hit that 6 out of 22 on the road.
All right, on Ethnic Understanding Night, on your birthday, congratulations for the win. Thanks for coming out. And Freddie, we will see you soon. All right, for joining us tonight, Anthony Mason will receive the American Express gift check. Think of it as a universal certificate that can be used to buy anything, even a haircut, just about anywhere. Gift checks are available where American Express traveler's checks are sold. Some of our guests also receive a watch from Fendi, the 900 series, registered international Italian design, finely crafted in Switzerland with an ETA quartz movement for precision timekeeping. Water resistant to 165 feet. The Fendi timepiece collection available at select Macy's stores. The Knicks deliver the pizza. The Knicks deliver a win. Back in a moment on MSG. Hey! Once again, the final score of the Knicks over the Denver Nuggets, 93-84. We will, in the minutes ahead, get the report from respective locker rooms, get the full pizza story with Curtis Bunn and Michael Kay, and in the minutes ahead also we'll get the post-game report from Pat Riley outside the Knicks locker room. The Knicks did it with defense in the second half and setting the tone for a lot of that, especially with his work off the boards. Charles Oakley, who was our NatWest Bank player of the game. Another double-double for him, 11 points to go with his 14 rebounds. Now we'll give you a sampling of some of his work. Bouncing off bodies inside, following it up once, following it up again, following it up yet another time for 3 rebounds on the play. The passing of the Knicks, 26 assists to the Nuggets 14. How about this? As Herb Williams gives it inside or gets it from Charles Oakley on the move, and that was indicative of the way the Knicks played tonight. Next up for the team, Thursday night here at Madison Square Garden, the LA Lakers. Game night begins our coverage at 7. The Knicks are against the NBA's youngest team. That'll be the precursor to Friday's game on the road in Chicago. Still ahead tonight on MSG, we'll take you live to the play-by-play. Mike Francesa and Jennifer Smith will talk to Phil Negro, Mark Jackson, Billy Sims, George Rogers, Bob Bukowski. Back in a moment.
Nobody beats the Rouge Jet Journal after Sports Day, Friday at 7 on MSG Network.
after Sports Desk and Game Night, Wednesday at 7 here on MSG Network. The New York Knicks are ready for their second matchup this season versus the LA Lakers. Thursday night at 7 after Sports Desk and Game Night here on MSG.
The Bud Dunk of the Game is brought to you by Budweiser, fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud.
And the Bud Dunk of the game from Herb Williams. Yes, leading the Knicks fast break. Herb saw 15 minutes of action tonight, contributed 4 points and 2 rebounds. Let's now go back and rewind the tape on Pat Riley's press conference.
I thought we had one of our best halves of the year. That second half, from a defensive standpoint, we really are playing well in that area right now. And I thought Oak came back after some of the subpar first half and just physically dominated a lot of the clean area. And holding them to 16 in the third quarter and just opening the game up with the defense and continuing to get the timely offense off it. So it's we're getting better and better from a defensive standpoint, being more consistent. Now finishing games is another story, and we just got to start finishing games stronger and attacking pressure. And we're sort of reluctant, we think we got a 45-second shot clock or something like that, but from the most part, it's really just a good showing in the second half. Well, it's you had 18 or 19 points, and you just got to make 2 or 3 good plays, and it sort of takes the energy out of the team. And, we're just not attacking. And again, we're talking about fundamentals. Before those turnovers, where all of our players have this. I think we're going to get a sky hook and hang it from Madison Square Garden, so when they get up in the air, they can grab onto it and pull them up, because everybody's leaving their feet. Once you get up in the air, you got to know where to go with it, and so we just got to keep working on the basic parts of attack possession. No, we have somewhere you have to recognize the opportunities. We're not going to make a big point of it, but the next 20 games, it's a favorable schedule for us, and then after that, it's probably one of the worst runs that we're going to have. We have 6 home games and 16 road games after that. So right now, there's a window where if we're playing well at home, we can catch a few teams and open up some airspace, but it's up to us. And, the home court is not going to guarantee us anything unless we play like we did in the second half. I didn't see a lot of fire in the first half, and the second half is the way we have to play at home to secure that advantage. So it's a good time for us if we take advantage of it. You got the Lakers, Mavericks. Well, you got to play them one at a time. We go to Chicago before that, but we do have a good schedule, and we got to take advantage of it. That's what there's about 4 or 5 very young teams in the league that are just going to get better and better, with experience. And they got a lot of good athletes on that team. Kembe and Ellis, Rogers. It's just a good young team. They've done a great job turning that franchise around. The first half, from an individual standpoint, we were just allowing a deeper position, and after the first move, they're getting good turnaround jumpers, they're getting depth in the post, and then they're making some shots. In the second half, we're just quicker. We were more active. We're active to the dribble when the dribble was put on the floor. We had people down helping and swarming, and also at the same time, we were recovering back to our men. And it's more of a disposition. Instead of standing flat-footed and watching the post player operate, we're giving it up. I'm not real comfortable with it. First of all, Doc's, he played 20 minutes in the first half, and, we missed his quickness and his ball handling, and that's sort of that reprieve to get some energy out on the floor. So, I like the fact that Hubert and John can play together, and, both of them can shoot the ball, and they're great threats outside, but as you can see at the end of the game, they're not natural point guards. We don't have one natural point guard right now, but you know, we'll do with it.
Is it in some ways, I mean, you have to be forced to use those guys and do this together? Does it at least give you an opportunity to see what they can do?
Well, I know what they can do. They, you know, we played them together last year. We played them in practice together all the time. So, I mean, they're familiar with the offense. Each guy can run the offense. They understand what they have to do. And, you know, so, you know, they're familiar with that. And, but it gives us an edge, I think, as to what we lack at times, which is, you know, great shooters.
You spoke about the offensive game now compared to the way you remember him.
You know, I mean, he's raw, man, and but he's developed, you know, his game obviously over the years, and you know, he's got an array of moves inside. He's got leaners and runners and turnaround jumpers. He can shoot the ball from the perimeter, and you know, if we keep moving him, you know, off the ball coming to the post instead of stationary post ups, I think he's going to be able to get, you know, a deep rebound. So, you know, he's got a total arsenal in there. I mean, the thing that Patrick has to continue to improve on, as most centers do, is the recognition and reading of, and also being willing to throw the ball out of the post on double teams. You know, all centers have to become sort of point postmen at times, especially when they're double teamed. I think Patrick has you know, more of a finesse game. I mean, he's got a few more skills. You know, I mean, you know, Dikembe is 7'2" and doesn't have the same kind of, you know, offensive game that Patrick has. But you know, he's a great shot blocker. He's a very big, strong player. Plays with a great heart.
In a game like tonight, when you get sometimes kind of 11 left, you know, not a blowout, but not real tight either.
That's history now. That's history, by the way, I think, isn't it? No. Yes, it is. Did you read? Somebody had it in the paper the other day. Last night. I think it was last night, isn't it? I don't know. You got to talk to somebody else about that, but I think it's the last night. Or I don't know. I could be speaking out of place here, you know. I don't run that promotions department, but I think that situation has been covered. I don't like it. I don't think it really, you know, needs to be there. You know, they could do something else. You know, give the money to charity or something. That's not an issue. I could see it tomorrow. Okay, everybody? Huh? I love it.
The Coaches Conference brought to you by the New York Times. There'll be a meeting here at the Garden tomorrow to decide the fate of the pizza promotion, but tonight it lives at Madison Square Garden. Here to talk about it, Michael Kay, who visited the Nuggets, Curtis Bunn, who visited the Knicks. Mike, let's start with you. Did the Nuggets know what was going on here?
They didn't know until about a minute 30. Then one of the ball boys told them. After they said, "Why are these people screaming?"
Those ball boys.
It's about pizza. And then Dan Issel said, "I really don't care. I didn't have a ticket, so I'm not getting free pizza." Most of the players I spoke to said, "Listen, that's all PR garbage, and we're really not worried about it. We would have liked to see him make one of the 2 foul shots, but that's not the big deal." He said we wanted to win. Dikembe Mutombo said we went through this last year in Minneapolis, and people won McDonald's because of us, so at least people are eating because of us.
About the game, the Nuggets said what?
Well, Dan Issel said that the Knicks defense is absolutely stifling. He said it's the best defense he's seen. He said the only thing close to Seattle, although Seattle plays defense with quickness, he said the Knicks fight right through picks, and that's why Abdul Rauf could not have a good game. He said he's got to score up at the basket, and he said when they're fighting through picks, he could not get a good look. Brian Stiff couldn't get a good look. It was just a tough defense. He said the best defense they've seen.
All right, let's turn now to the story of the New York Knicks. Curtis, we heard from Anthony Mason, we heard from the coach. Who else can we hear from?
Well, first of all, John Starks, as far as the pizza controversy goes, he said he surprisingly was not aware that the pizza was on the line.
No way. I'm sorry, Curtis. I'm sorry. I just don't believe that. No way.
He said he looked up at the clock then and realized he felt like he would be the GOAT if the guy made a foul shot. So he was praying that he would miss.
You buy that?
No, not really.
Okay, I feel better now. I feel better. Who else did you talk to?
Huber Davis. He was concerned about their lack of closing the game like Raleigh was strongly. He felt like he wanted to assume some of the blame because he was the point guard at the time when they were up by 17 and they kind of had a minute to last there. But he was playing point guard, and he had never played in high school or college before. So to play in this situation against the great athletes that you have in the NBA, he felt like he really didn't do the job. But he wants to work on it and feels like he can be a pretty good force there for the Knicks.
All right, Curtis, thanks very much. Thanks, Michael. That'll do it. That's a wrap here from Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks held the opposition under 85, delivered the pizza to the fans in a 93-84 victory, the 4th straight for the New York Knicks. Coming up next, it'll be the Los Angeles Lakers. They've already played in L.A. Now they'll wrap up the season series Thursday here at the Garden. Game night begins our coverage at 7. In a matter of moments, we'll take you live to the play-by-play, and Mike and Jennifer will talk to Phil Negro, Mark Jackson, Billy Sims, George Rogers, and the president of the Garden, Bob Witkowski. For all of us here courtside at the Garden, thanks for joining us for a big night for everyone's diet.
Football, real football, and real.
Jackson. Holy cow, y'all, Mark Jackson. Welcome back to New York. Thank you.
Welcome back. Hey, this Denver to New York transition is a cinch. They love me here. I'm going to be great. I'm going to be a TV megastar. Here the Big Apple, baby. Watch out.
Yes, sir. Get on over here.
Hey, I'm Mark Jackson. I'm here to do play-by-play.
Mark Jackson?
Yeah.
What is that, Mark Jackson? Wait a minute. Listen, the Nuggets are in town tonight, not the Clippers. We don't go for that in the play-by-play.
What do you mean?
No, listen. It's the Nuggets, not the Clippers.
I'm Mark Jackson, though.
You don't go.
I'm Mark Jackson, really.
Well, I am definitely not confused about which Mark Jackson this is, a diehard